When you're done taping, can you roll that podium out for like 15 seconds or so?
I'm sorry?
Roll that over there for like 15 seconds.
Oh, just so it's out of the way for a second.
I told my friend that I was coming to this conference today. She goes, really, from WB? And she listens to me.
Yep.
And I said, I don't know until I get there.
Yep, we got it.
Everyone's been invited.
I'm sorry.
More so than this.
That's what I'm saying.
This is one of these. I'm gonna need some tape here.
Here.
All right, who's got the tape?
Right there somewhere.
Okay. Oh my God, sorry.
Bill, King USA group.
What's that?
Rainbow. Rainbow? Left of the map.
At the top left.
That's rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the queen? So I don't know what well, somebody's going to decide. But even if they're going to Fort Erie, it's going to back up the highway. So I might just cross.
We do. I'm almost out of it. I had 1,000.
Yeah, put that.
Oh, you're
Wanna back
fine.
it up?
You're good. Uh-oh.
Give us all a better angle. Who broke your mic?
Didn't break anything.
Pull it back on the.
Good for you guys?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, move it wherever you want.
This works for everyone.
Jim, I'll introduce you to her. So this is Elizabeth Carey. She's with Triple I.
Sorry. I think it will hold up.
Oh, very excited, yeah.
Famous last words.
Right.
I got a few notes. Yeah, there we go.
this a spot on?
So
I
actually,
mean, I think
oh, well, I'm the supervision now. Break. I'm gonna light it. Yeah.
so you don't need to.
No, I'm actually a couple hours.
Oh, you're
Somebody
right away
from
from your
storage
village.
here, but working during the week now.
Yeah, I guess you're probably better to say.
Well, we have two connections. My daughter goes to University of Albany. And my friend used to live in Hammondsport, and they have a house on Cuba Lake still. So we go through Bath regularly.
Small world.
Yeah.
I mean, this is closer than that.
Hey, could you grab that white piece of paper and put it up behind the podium?
Of course.
Nope. Oh, here, okay. Oh, you need it on the,
Yeah. Wide balance.
oh,
Got all kinds of
Albany or live near Bath. Stop looking at the 4-0.
4-0. That's good, he looks good. All right, we're good. All right, shut it off.
Now.
4-0, good to go.
Thank you for your service. Great. Oh, as always.
Oh, okay.
She wasn't there.
I think we all believe that.
Oh, you?
it does raise.
I don't know, it's not easy to see. So I guess I may, yeah.
Yeah, but if the bridge is backed up, you can't get it.
I got you.
All right,
All right.
you guys are ready?
We are
Everyone's set, good to go? Okay. All right. Make sure I have everything. So welcome to NITTEC. So for those of you who aren't familiar with NITTEC, we are a coalition of binational agencies and authorities, municipalities, and entities for Western New York and Southern Ontario. Our goal is to improve regional and international transportation mobility, promote economic competitiveness, minimize adverse environmental effects, all related to the regional transportation network throughout this region. One of the key goals what we do here in the region is we coordinate the management of operations. We work with all the various agencies throughout the region to help improve traffic. What do I mean by that? Well, we're constantly monitoring the highway cameras. There's about 160 highway cameras throughout the region that we're monitoring 24/7. We're also operating all the various overhead message signs that you're seeing throughout the region. They have messages on them. We started that on Wednesday, March 27th, making sure the public's aware that the solar eclipse is coming on Monday, April 8th. If you're not familiar with that, hopefully by now everyone knows the eclipse is happening. So I have various members of our agencies here today to talk and give some tips as well. But just want to talk a little bit about NITTEC. Like I said, we're here 24/7. We're monitoring. We're in direct communications with all the various agencies. We will be throughout this event. We're going to be changing message signs as we need to, as conditions change. I know they're anticipating an influx of traffic in this region. I know I've heard numbers anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million people coming to this region. A lot of it is unknown, dependent on the weather, dependent on where people want to go on that path of totality. So we are planning to make sure the region is prepared for this traffic. We have various intelligent transportation systems we use in this center. One is an advanced traffic management system. That's where we actually put all those message signs up. It's not something that we have to go to each sign. We have various plans in place to enact those pretty quickly. They go up very fast. Like I said, there's 40 overhead signs throughout the region, and there's about 60 portable ones specifically being used for the solar eclipse to get the messaging out to the public. A lot of those are geared around areas where we know there's going to be an influx of traffic due to various events that are happening throughout the region, whether it's the Outer Harbor, whether it's Niagara Falls. We're going to be communicating with those signs and updating those messages as conditions change throughout the day. Influx of traffic is anticipated to start coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. leading up to the eclipse, but it's after everybody trying to leave at the same time. So a lot of the messaging has been, you know, stay where you are, enjoy the activities, leave late, so you're kind of avoiding some of that traffic that we anticipate seeing. One of the things that is available to the traveling public, and I want to make sure everyone's aware of this, is Nitech does have a website where all that traffic real-time information is available on the website, also a mobile app. All of our camera images are streaming on the website and app as well, so people can get an idea, take a look at those highway cameras and see what's going on. They're not recorded, but they are available live streaming on our website. So if you don't have the Nitech app now, please go ahead and download it so you have it ready to go. You know, take a look at the cameras, what information's on there, so you know how to navigate that. Obviously don't do it while you're driving, but again, giving you the information as we get it. We'll be updating the information on our website. I know what I've heard, one of the things trying to encourage people to be patient. Keep in mind that it's not just local people that are traveling in and throughout this region during this eclipse. It's a lot of out-of-town people not familiar with the roadways. You know, they're relying on GPS and devices like that. So, you know, I want people to pay attention to that. And also, if you know alternate routes to the various destinations to and from and where you're going, you might want to consider in advance knowing what those alternate routes are. The most popular routes are going to be the heavily trafficked routes, but if you know an alternate route into Niagara Falls, Outer Harbor, I encourage you to recognize what those are, be prepared to be able to, you know, change if you need to, and be flexible. But again, be patient is a word I've heard quite a bit, and I think that's a message for the, you know, the traveling public to be patient with drivers from out of the region. Now, I do have a group of some of our agencies here today that are going to give a few words. I'll introduce our first speaker, which is Jim Rusak. He is the Acting Regional Director for the New York State Department of Transportation. Jim?
Good morning, everybody. So I'm here to share some of the efforts that the department has been making in preparation for the eclipse. So, you know, our number one goal is to provide safe, efficient, and effective traffic control for Niagara County and all of Western New York before, during, and after the eclipse. To meet this goal, we're in continual communication, coordination, and cooperation with our state and local partners. We have a comprehensive messaging plan for all stages of the event, and we'll be displaying those messages on portable and overhead signs that were mentioned. So, our, you know, advanced messaging began last Wednesday in anticipation of the eclipse. We're encouraging all travelers to come early and to stay late and to avoid traffic congestion. The department's Regional Operations Center will activate Monday morning in advance of the eclipse and will also be staffed by New York State Police and Parks to ensure seamless communication and to allow us to monitor and react in real time to traffic or incidents using cameras and drones. All traffic plans have contingencies, so you know we can react quickly and implement those contingencies to adapt to any given situation. Our crews are going to be held over as necessary to provide quick response and deliver any necessary resources. Our signal crews will also be staged all throughout Western New York to manage and provide quick response to our 960 plus traffic signals. We've got help trucks that will be staged throughout the area beginning at 7 a.m. on Monday. These trucks enhance our ability to respond by providing advanced warning. They move disabled vehicles, they can provide fuel, change tires, anything that's needed to help with that quick clearance. We've also got tow trucks that will be staged throughout the area for both the Buffalo and Niagara region. So those trucks will be there also to enhance quick clearance. And you know, to close, we encourage all travelers to have extra patience on April 8th, to arrive early and to stay late so that everyone can enjoy this truly unique experience. Thank you.
Good morning. The New York State Police, obviously joined by our partners here, we're the 9th largest police organization in the country, but by no means we can do our job successfully or accurately without the help of the people in this room and the people that might not even be in this room, like the local law enforcement agencies. You can see NITTEC and all the screens behind us. This is something we utilize in the New York State Police every single day. our emergency management crews, myself, and a bunch of us on the thruway, troopers working the road, will utilize this technology. Why do we do that? We need to do that to see where the issues are, where the problems are, and then we were going to roll into this eclipse this Monday the 8th, and we anticipate a lot of people being in this area, with the hotels being booked, the amount of people coming in through different resources that we have to monitor that. We are bringing in an additional well over 100 troopers throughout the state, just here to Western New York, not counting the troopers who are typically on pass that'll be recalled in to assist not only in the 911 efforts, to make sure that we have adequate patrols in those areas for the influx of people that could deal with a medical emergency, car collision, anything that kind of arises. But also, you can see behind me, you got the Niagara Falls, I guess would be the hot point right now. And we have the LaSalle Expressway, you got Buffalo Avenue, you got Niagara Falls Boulevard, you got all these parallel roads leading to those areas. The New York State Police will be rendering a lot of staff actually to Niagara Falls Police Department, Buffalo Police Department, to assist in their efforts on the waterfront, because those are going to be the hot spots. We have all our local people here that are going to take advantage of schools off, so it should slow down, I guess, the traffic when it comes to school buses and things like that. We have a lot of the road work that's canceled throughout this event, just to slow down on kind of the bottlenecking and congestion that can cause on the throughways or interstates. But the big thing is, we want this to be the safest possible outcome. And that's why we're bringing in all this additional staffing. That's why we're going to be at a lot of intersections. That's why we're going to be assisting with the departments, not only for traffic, but also for safety. Safety is paramount for this whole thing. We have a lot of people in a crowded area, and that's what we are out there to do. We're out there to make sure that the people that are going to this, to witness this, like I said, there might only be, this might be a one-time thing for a lot of people. And we want to make sure that this is the safest possible outcome, not only on the roadways, but also in the parks, in the places that people are going to frequent this event. So with that, I want to turn this over to my good friend from AAA of Western and Central New York, Elizabeth Carey.
Hi, everyone. Obviously, this is going to be quite the spectacle, and a lot of people want to see the eclipse, but AAA is warning everyone in advance to prepare now and have a plan in place. So you don't want to just pull over on the side of a roadway or on the highway to try and view the eclipse. So plan now so you know where you want to be, and give yourself plenty of time to get there. Also, these eclipse glasses are for viewing the eclipse. They shouldn't be worn while people are driving. It's a distraction and it's a hazard. You never want to be able to attempt to take photos or video while you're driving. That is a complete distraction. So again, have that plan in place, know where you're going to be, and then you'll be able to view the eclipse and have that experience and then carry on. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of traffic, so people should plan in advance. Like you have that winter emergency kit when we have a snowstorm, have that kit in your car now with some basic tools, snacks, and water. This way, if you're stuck in traffic, you are comfortable and you'll be able to make it through and be able to get to your destination safely. As you heard today, there are a lot of eclipse viewing parties that are taking place. A lot of people will be enjoying alcohol as part of that experience. Make sure you have a designated driver so that you can enjoy the eclipse and get back home safely. If you do need emergency road service, AAA will be on standby with extra crews on the roads and also people on the phones as well, as we do expect a high call volume with a lot of people breaking down. So again, get that gas in your car now in advance so you're all gassed up, the vehicle's ready to go, you have that kit in place with your snacks and your water to keep you comfortable, and let's keep it a safe event for everyone. And now it's my pleasure to turn it over to Kelly Khatib. She's the Public Information Officer for the NFTA.
Thank you, Elizabeth. First of all, I just want to thank all of our partners that we work with every day. We've all been working very tirelessly to, again, make sure that this is a safe event. This for a lot of people, once in a lifetime event that we're having for the eclipse. And now with that being said, the NFTA has a lot of moving parts here. So when we're talking about the airport, out of the airport, we are going to make sure that there are all hands on deck. While not too many extra flights are already set, we do anticipate that there are going to be a lot of people coming and going. So we are going to have our NFTA officers, definitely going to have more officers on site. Now, what we would like to remind people is that, yes, if you can stay home, your best vantage point is going to be from your backyard. But for those who do want to travel to the many, viewing parties that we have out here, we want to encourage you to ride the bus. The less cars that are on the road, the better. And we are definitely going to have for that time of the eclipse, we will be handing out eclipse glasses to passengers. So we want you to view it, we want you to have a good time, but again, the less cars that are on the road, the better. Now, as many people have said before me, please try to be patient. You're going to expect delays. There is going to be traffic, but you can help that traffic by getting on and riding one of our buses. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, Kelly, and Elizabeth. I really appreciate it. You know, this isn't something we've, just kind of put together the last couple of months. We've really been planning and working with all of our different partners for the last year. We've got an extensive plan. It's got alternatives to it. Really, it encompasses a little bit of everything that, the region has going on, each of the partners, the different resources. Like I said, the agencies are really, it's kind of all hands on deck, helping out however we can, working collectively together. That is something we do in this region. It is very unique. We've been working very closely with the Federal Highway Administration to learn from the 2017 eclipse. When that passed through different areas, how did they handle traffic? What did they see? I mean, some areas were seeing 5 to 12 hours of delay. More rural areas, we have a robust roadway network here, so hoping people can kind of, fill up various roadways and not all take the same path. But again, if you know those alternate routes, that's going to be helpful. So we've been doing a lot of work in this region, learning from others, planning, even sharing plans. We are sharing our plan with different states. We've been working with Pennsylvania DOT. They've shared their plan with us because this is going right through EPA. Vermont as well. We've been working with those partners as well. So again, it's a lot of collaboration throughout this region and even across the country because this is hitting the most population that compared to the last eclipse. So again, I appreciate everyone's time. Again, go to the NITTEC website. It's nittec.org, nittec.org. You can get, we did create a resource page for the eclipse. We have linked various agencies' pages there. The NFTA has a special page for the bus routes. The weather, National Weather Service has a page with the weather information. They're doing daily reports now and sharing that information. So a lot of that is on our homepage. You can see total eclipse resources. Go there. There's a lot of different things that we've put there to help the agencies and the traveling public get the information they need. And again, it's just trying to be prepared is, it's kind of like a snowstorm, but we all know when this is exactly happening and when people are anticipated to leave. So again, we don't want people to get stranded, but be prepared, be patient, and again, use our website as a resource for information. Thank you. And we can take questions, so if there's any specific questions.
With all these,
Oh.
sorry, with all these extra people that may be accessing your website or your app, can they handle another million people trying to look at it?
Yes, we've actually put some additional resources in place. We've worked with our website provider. We've noticed usually during winter storms is when we have the most hits to our website. Actually, the Rainbow Bridge incident in November, we had extensive use of our webpage, and we actually had to make adjustments on the fly to increase the load of traffic coming during that event. That got a lot of national attention as well. But yeah, we put resources in place to make sure. Any of our support contracts, we use a various software packages in here to do a lot of this stuff. All of our support contractors are available to assist us if we run into any issues. They're all on standby. Don't anticipate it, but we do have them on standby if we need.
Is there a plan to help prevent emergency vehicles from getting stuck in heavy traffic areas, and how that can be negotiated and how that can be prevented, I guess, too?
Yes. New York State DOT has the Highway Emergency Local Patrols. Those are the help team. They will be out there assisting. I know there's a lot of ATVs coming into the region to help if they need to navigate. So I think some of that's put into place. Again, it's knowing different alternate routes that will help. And I think some of the key corridors that we know, especially to the different hospitals, those are where, some of the resources will be kept as well, because in the event we need to get those emergency responders to various areas, we can help use some of those resources. That's why the influx of troopers that are coming to the region, other staff that's coming is going to be able to be used to help with that.
Is there going to be more ambulances and more emergency vehicles available just that day than on a normal?
Yes, I believe so. So there's a statewide plan that's been developed. That's the Office of Emergency Management has developed a plan, and that has looked to stage additional resources throughout the entire state. So that is something that they are working on, yes.
I don't know if this is a question for Jim or Jim, but are there any plans to kind of try to mitigate the issue of people stopping on roadways to close down? I know that there's been some chatter about particularly the Skyway or any of the major routes. Is there anything in that nature that has been talked about being closed to the public, so once the eclipse happens and it's in total darkness, nobody's stopping on the roadways to check it out?
Yeah, that's a good question for both of us. The state police is providing, the state police is providing strike teams that will be working with our crews to make sure that any stopped vehicles are shuttled along quickly. So they will be keeping all of those roads open and the shoulders clear of any stopped vehicles.
The Skyway's gonna be closed at 8 AM, right?
No.
No.
It's gonna be closed at 8 AM?
No, there are certain ramps and intersections that will be modified, but the Skyway will be open,
During the entire time?
yes.
Is there a list of what exits will be closed somewhere?
If, Jim can answer
Yeah.
the other part of
Yep.
that.
So it's not as much about closures as it is about manning those intersections and those high, I guess, profile areas. Like a high profile area that we're going to be looking at is how do you go from the 190 to Niagara Falls? You're going to take the LaSalle Express. You're going to go over the Grand Island Bridge, the South Bridge. You're going to loop around. You're going to go on the LaSalle. That area will be heavily monitored with strike teams. Yes, there's signal lights in that area coming off Buffalo Avenue, but if we have a trooper there that could disregard the signal light and keep traffic moving, that's our objective. We're working with Niagara County Sheriff's Office, we're working with Niagara Falls Police Department and New York State Park Police in those areas. There are intersections that are definitely going to be compromised with traffic, for sure. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to close them. We just have adapted and overcome on those intersections, supply troopers, supply the amount of manpower we need to make those kind of free-flowing as best as possible.
What time do you expect, like, traffic to really pick up? I mean, this thing is at 3 o'clock, but I mean, are you expecting 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock?
The actual eclipse starts at about 2, ends at about 4. 3:18 will be the total hour. So I guess if you're not in a hurry to see that, but I would imagine by noon you're going to start to see a pickup of traffic. It depends on where the hotel is. That's a transient person is staying at, to their, I'm sure they booked somewhere close to where they want to go. So that for that person, they might be able to walk, or they might be able to get there quicker. But I would imagine around noontime is where you're going to start to see the influx of people. The parks, everyone wants a good seat. It's like 4th of July, right? You don't want to show up late and get the worst seat in the house. So you're going to see people start to show up a little bit early, get their spot, get comfortable with their families, kids, or whatever the case may be. But I would definitely say noon you're going to see the pickup, probably, honestly, after they eat lunch, right? You don't want to eat 2 meals out. So you're probably going to eat lunch, go out, and you're probably going to be stuck in traffic, unfortunately, somewhere between the 3:30 to 4:30, 5 o'clock hour, depending on how quick everyone wants to get to their next destination. That's what we're looking at.
I think a big message here too, I know a lot has been made of the lead up to the eclipse, but I think there's a lot also that maybe should be brought a little bit more to the light of after the eclipse. What's the message going forward with people that are hosting events or people that are going out? I mean, the message has been stay late, but I mean, how can people be encouraged to stay where they are and wait things out to maybe allow for people that need to get out, do their business, and then, things might just kind of even flow a little bit with traffic?
It's going to be a little different on every situation. If you're at a state park, it's probably going to be a slow go. Even if you get in your car right away, you're going to be waiting in your car, or you're going to be waiting where your lawn seat was. Just like a normal event here, Bills and Savers, right? We've all done that. You can either wait in your car, or you can give it about 15, 20 minutes, even 40 minutes, talk to people, and then kind of snoop out a little bit quicker. But every scenario is going to be different. If you're going to an event downtown or a restaurant or something like that, it might be a little quicker. It depends on the congestion of those specific areas. Like Kelly was mentioning earlier, if you're in your backyard, or maybe you have your kids' friends over and like a localized party that's away from kind of those hot spots, your traffic probably will not be affected. If you're in the middle or on the edge of Niagara County or even Erie County in the very, very rural areas, you're probably not going to get a significant load of traffic. So, like I said, it's a little different for everyone. You just have to know when you look around, if you're shoulder to shoulder and the car parking lot's packed and you're somewhere like that, it's going to take you a little while. Pack your patience. You know, we say arrive early, stay late, because that's kind of the concept here.
There are a lot of places that people want to go that are one way in, one way out. Goat Island would be one way in, one way out. Anything on the waterfront pretty much down there is one way in, one way out. How do you deal with that?
And that'll still be the same, and that's where we're going to have additional troopers work with New York State Park Police. Will be on Goat Island itself. You have Fort Niagara, which is a great viewing point up there. But again, the roads are constructed the way the roads are constructed. Eventually, those one-ways go to a signal light to merge with other sort of traffic and other sort of intersections, and that's where we're going to have additional law enforcement kind of bypassing the signal light to keep traffic moving. And that's a contingent thing on, you know, making sure, you know, way down on Buffalo Avenue or way down on the LaSalle Expressway, making sure the 190 is clear, making sure the Grand Island Bridge is not congested. And that's where our, you know, service teams come in handy. If someone gets a flat tire or isn't paying attention and driving distracted, which we often unfortunately see, and they hit somebody, that's why we're trying to re-emphasize, do not drive distracted, do not drive intoxicated, make sure your car's gassed up. All of those little things could really bottleneck traffic. So just go out there, be prepared, drive adequately, drive safely. Don't look at this eclipse with your glasses on driving your car. And I say that, I mean, it sounds hilarious, it sounds like ridiculous really, but past practice is in other parts of this country that has happened. So please just monitor yourself, and it will make everyone's day a lot easier.
Are there any plans to, you know, direct traffic away from the highways from the police themselves, or are you just recommending that the people who know the area just kind of avoid that part of, you know, the roads?
Can we talk about that? I can talk about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so in our plan that we've developed is some strategies that if traffic starts backing up, for instance, Niagara Scenic Parkway starts backing up and it's approaching Grand Island Bridges, there's alternatives where we'll be working closely with the strike teams that are out there to close certain areas. So right now, there's only one planned closure of a ramp. That's the Outer Harbor ramp off of Route 5 Skyway. That is planned to close at 8 a.m. That is based on past events that have been there, air shows, other events that we've learned that if you close that ramp earlier, it helps alleviate the traffic backing up onto the Skyway. So that's the one planned closure as of right now. The other, it's going to be dependent on the traffic and whether we need to toggle traffic. For instance, you're going up to Niagara Falls, Niagara Scenic Parkway is all backed up, then they're going to start diverting you to Buffalo Ave, Niagara Falls Boulevard, the other alternate routes up. So that stuff, it's going to be dependent on what the traffic is, and even leaving various areas, whether they're going to have to toggle traffic. It's not something that may stay closed the entire time. It'll be one of those situational, depending on the traffic, being able to toggle opening and closing of different areas. But right now, there's no plan to close various roadways other than the Outer Harbor ramp at 8 a.m.
And is that toggling something you do here?
Working closely with the different agencies. So again, we would have to change the message signs, but the agencies themselves, whether it's state police, DOT, Thruway Authority, the different agencies are then tasked to go out and close various areas if need be. So it's a group effort. It depends on the roadway and whose situation needs to close it. But again, a lot of the coordination will come through here, what we're seeing, what they're sharing with us. Like I said, it is a true collaboration with all the different agencies, Niagara County, Erie County as well.
I know that 6 years ago there was the eclipse that swapped through the middle of the nation. I know that Nashville was one of those cities that had a lot of people flock in to see the eclipse there. Is there anything in talks with other municipalities or any other agencies in the path of that eclipse 6 years ago that you took from that really kind of helped with the planning for traffic and everything this time around?
Yeah, there was a lot of resources that were developed and shared amongst all the other agencies and states that are having this eclipse. So, you know, a lot of it is, you know, having good plans in place, bringing in all the different resources. That is something that was learned from the different areas. I mean, all the different strike teams having tow on standby at various locations, something DOT and the other agencies are doing. So a lot of what we are doing is lessons learned from the other areas. You know, things we know, you know, during winter storms, what we have to do, some of these other things that we've learned over the years in the region. Again, we just expanded on that as well. Help teams. The help team normally is on the 290 and the 33 during morning and afternoon rush. We were able to get additional help trucks in this region, and they're going to be on Niagara Scenic Parkway. They're going to be on the 190. So again, it's using some of the additional the resources we already have and expanding on those. And again, a lot of that was learned from other areas and what they did, and things that didn't go well for them, trying to take things that, you know, didn't work so good how can we improve on that? And again, having this plan in place that has all these different options and scenarios. Whether we use them all, it's going to be dependent on where the traffic is. But at least we have a plan. We've thought it out. We've thought through different things with all the different agencies to make it, everyone's really come to the table to work together on this. I mean, we want Buffalo to look good. We're known for snowstorms and don't come here, it snows. But again, it is a unique area. You want people to come here, but again, you want them to have a good experience while they're here. So,
Jim, I don't know if you could talk more about the help trucks and just how vital they will be, not just for the eclipse, but just for any other activity that happens along the New York State Thruway or any of the other interstates that you're associated with in the state.
Of course, yeah. So, it's all about quick clearance, right? Anytime we have a stopped vehicle on the shoulder, even if it's not blocking the lane, that causes friction for the traffic that's trying to flow by, and it can have a real impact. So staying ahead of those issues, getting those vehicles moving is the key, and those trucks are equipped to do that. Like I mentioned, they can change tires, they can add fuel, whatever they need to do to get a person back on the road and moving. So they'll be out there and ready.
Is it essentially like a beefed up tow truck, or just kind of like when people drive by, how would they notice that one of these help trucks are there?
It's a service body truck that has the toolboxes and has all the tools on it that they would need to help that disabled vehicle.
Have you also worked with Canadian officials as well about bridges? Can you talk about that?
yes. So the Ministry of Transportation Ontario, one of our member agencies, again, we're working closely with them. They have a traffic operations center. I say it's similar like this, but it's a lot nicer, bigger. So. Huh? Of course it is. But we work very closely with them. So we share information back and forth. And then also with the Niagara region in Ontario. They're members of NITTEC. We work collectively together. Same with the Peace Bridge Authority and the Niagara Falls Bridge Commission for the bridge crossings. Working very closely with them. We actually have a very robust border management plan that we've actually, modify on a regular basis, put in place when there are delays at the bridge and how we handle the delays, both sides of the border, coming into the U.S. or vice versa. So I know, working closely with them, we've had conversations with U.S. Customs, Canadian Customs. They're going to make sure they have staffing adequately for any kind of processing. So again, we are working very closely with all those partners. They're part of our plans as well, just to make sure traffic's crossing, smoothly. They're anticipating, Toronto's not in the path, so they're anticipating a lot of traffic from Toronto coming down to Niagara Falls, Ontario as well. So again, they've done a lot of similar things in their plan. They have a plan as well, specifically with, they're having additional tow resources on the QEW, and strike force is very similar with their Ontario Provincial Police as well. So again, we're working very closely with them on their plans, and a lot of that's incorporated into our plan as well.
Are they suggesting when to come over from Canada to the U.S.? Are they suggesting a time?
No,
like
and part of I think my wishful thinking a little bit is each stay on your respective sides, because it might make things easier. Stay on, I just feel it's just going to add more congestion. We had various plans put in place for when Nick Wallenda walked the tightrope of Niagara Falls. We took those plans out. We looked at what we had put in place for those, and we really did not have traffic issues on the U.S. side for Nick Wallenda. The Canadian side was different. They had over 150,000 people in Niagara Falls. They had a lot more traffic issues. But again, both of us and working with them have pulled out those plans to look at how to handle that. I know in Niagara Falls, Ontario, they are doing various road closures. We have some of that identified in our plan, what roads they're actually closing in advance to help with some of the traffic. But yeah, we're in direct coordination with them.
What are the expectations for the border there in Niagara Falls for people crossing, whether they're going over to the Canadian side of the falls or whether they're coming over to the U.S. side of the falls?
So, part of it is looking at a typical July 4th holiday, a lot of traffic. They're kind of planning a similar situation like that, like a July 4th, Canadian July 1st through the 4th. We typically see pre-COVID a lot of traffic crossing the border, significant delays. We do have delay information that's available on our website. It's an automated system that calculates the delay times. Peace Bridge uses the same information, Niagara Falls Bridge Commission, and then the customs use that information. So we do have that information. So if people are looking to cross the border, you know, we encourage them to take a look at what those delay times are. Take a look at the 3 bridges, or even if you have Nexus, the Whirlpool Bridge, and try to plan out accordingly. We've done a good job in this region in getting people familiar with the fact that there are 3 border crossings in the region. So let's disperse the load of traffic across the 3 bridges. We've done a very good job of that, making that information available. So we've seen that. But again, does that mean that everyone's still going to Niagara Falls and they're going to use the Rainbow Bridge? Anticipated to be busy. But again, it's hard to know, but planning for holiday, you know, traffic from July and then some. So a lot of unknowns.
And I'd just like to say, I want to make sure that people understand that while we do have these watch parties and we have all worked together tirelessly to make sure this goes off seamlessly, the best thing that you can do to make all of our jobs easier and everybody's day safer is to stay home. The best view that you will have, even if you're coming here from across the border, and make sure that you're not coming the day of, because that's just going to make this situation work. So if everybody works together, if you can look at it from your backyard, please do that. If you can look at it from the roof of your hotel or just by standing outside, do that. Do as much as you can to stay home and stay off the roadways.
There's something I wanted to point out too, just so that you're aware. The timing of this is really interesting because Easter travel is taking place right now, and the numbers are way up compared to last year. So all these Easter travelers are looking to return on Saturday and Sunday, right when eclipse travelers are coming to town. So that just compounds the problem. And we have people all over the country on vacation, a ton of people in Florida on cruise ships, they're flying back, people on road trips down to Myrtle Beach, Florida, beach destinations, they're all going to be driving back just as eclipse travelers are coming into town. So people need to really be prepared for that, and like Athena said, pack your patience for sure.
And that's one of the reasons why we started doing the messaging on the overhead message signs on March 27th, more than a week out. We typically would only message a week out for an event, but we were trying to hit some of those travelers that were going to leave the region and be coming back to this. So again, that's why our messaging started, and again, it will continue during the duration, and hopefully it's a successful, but again, anticipate there's going to be traffic. So.
Any other questions?
Quickly rewind to New York State Police and those strike teams. What makes that different than a typical state trooper?
So there is no difference. A strike team is a team of troopers that would be together at a certain area or a certain thing. So it's easier for us, instead of just calling out troopers by name or like, where's this one guy, where's this guy, we're strike team 2, 3, and 4. We're strike team 12 and 13. It's just easier to know that that strike team consists of this many troopers, they're here, and it's easy for us logistically to coordinate that type of event. So it's not a matter of that they're different. Now, some of them may have different components. Some strike teams might be commercial vehicle unit. Some strike teams might be traffic incident management members. There are going to be specialties within some of the strike teams depending on where they are, but that's for us kind of to know on the inside. But a strike team is more or less, it's just a group of troopers that are going to be at one spot or another. It's easy for not only us but our outside helpers to kind of like look at it really quick and know, like, okay, this is kind of how things pan out toward the end.
You're dealing with traffic here today, but there's also security issues at multiple sites where you have a lot of people. How do you deal with that?
So one of the other kind of benefits of having so many law enforcement, not just us as New York State Police, but also you have all the local municipalities, you have the sheriff's departments that we're working with, you have everyone kind of coming together. A lot of businesses are closed, so we don't have to worry about that aspect of it. But also, there's going to be a lot of uniforms walking in and around these areas, not only inside those events in those areas, parks and things like that, but we're talking outside of those areas and even outside of that on the side of the roadway. So just a natural deterrent. Everyone knows if you see a uniform, typically crime isn't committed right in front of them, but that is also a deterrent. But if we have to act, we can act very quickly just from the sheer amount of law enforcement we'll have in those areas and in and around the state for that matter.
Anything else?
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.